Mike Hansen's hands shook as he stared at the briefcase containing $500,000 in cash. Russian writing covered the bills. He was alone in storage room C7 of the Belmont Grand Casino at 2:47 a.m., responding to what should have been a routine water leak alarm. But this wasn't routine. Nothing about Mike's life had been routine since his son Danny showed up at his apartment 3 weeks ago, beaten bloody, owing $380,000 to the Russian mob. "Dad, they gave me 2 months," Danny had whispered through swollen lips. "If I don't pay, they'll kill Jessica too." Now Mike found himself holding the solution to his nightmare. Dirty money that criminals couldn't report stolen. Money that could save his children's lives. He photographed the briefcase's exact position, then carefully lifted out $300,000. His scanner showed no tracking devices. He replaced the stolen bills with newspaper bundles to maintain the weight. Footsteps echoed in the corridor. Mike's heart stopped. Vincent Torres, the security director, was approaching with someone whose voice had a thick Russian accent. "I want to check that storage room," the Russian said. "Something feels wrong." Mike dove behind a stack of boxes just as the door opened. Vincent's flashlight swept the room while Dmitry Volkov, a man Mike recognized from FBI wanted posters, examined the briefcase. "Everything looks normal," Vincent said. Dmitry opened the briefcase, saw the newspaper bundles on top, but didn't dig deeper. "Good. Our arrangement continues." They left. Mike waited 8 agonizing minutes before moving. By 3:15 a.m., he was home with $300,000 in his safe. He paid $50,000 toward Danny's debt as a good faith payment. The Russians gave him more time, but Mike had discovered something bigger than one briefcase. The Belmont Grand wasn't just a casino, it was the money laundering hub for 3 crime families. 3 weeks later, Mike executed his second heist. VIP Suite 12 contained $2.3 million in Italian mob money. Using his security clearance, he triggered an electrical surge throughout the casino, then accessed the suite during the emergency response. The Italian safe required fingerprint, combination, and time lock. Mike's electromagnetic pulse device disabled the alarms, but he had to wait for the 3-hour time cycle. As the clock ticked toward 1:45 a.m., Italian guards grew nervous about the extended power outage. At 1:44 a.m., the time lock disengaged. Mike found more money than expected and took $1.8 million, leaving $500,000 to minimize suspicion. Then disaster struck. Guards entered the suite while Mike hid in the bathroom with the stolen money. They checked the safe, saw the remaining cash, and assumed everything was secure. Mike escaped during his own final power system check, walking out the main entrance with $1.8 million in equipment bags. With 2 successful heists behind him, Mike had stolen over $2 million. But it wasn't enough. Danny still owed $180,000 to the Russians, and Jessica needed $40,000 more for Stanford tuition. Worse, Federal Gaming Commission investigators had arrived for a surprise audit. Then Mike discovered the ultimate prize: Colombian cartel money. $15 million stored in Vault Level 3 during the World Series of Poker Championship. Maximum security, maximum danger, maximum reward. October 14th, 3:17. At a.m., Mike's hands shook as he moved the last $15.2 million from the vault. This was his 3rd heist in 6 weeks. Each time, he'd almost been caught. Colombian guards patrolled 20 feet away, while Mike crammed behind cash pallets, clutching specialized money bags. One wrong move meant execution. "Sweep complete. Vault secure. Money untouched," the guard radioed. Mike held his breath as the flashlight beam swept inches from his hiding spot. The guard finally left, but Vincent's voice crackled over the radio. "Hansen's not responding. Find him immediately." Federal agents were searching every floor. Mike had 3 minutes to escape with $15 million before his world collapsed. He lifted the money bags and began his final extraction. Everything depended on the next 180 seconds. At 3:30 a.m., Mike emerged on the main floor during poker championship chaos, blending with the tournament crowd while carrying $15 million. Federal agents searched systematically, but Mike walked to the parking garage where Tommy Santos waited with the extraction vehicle. At 3:35 a.m., federal agents surrounded Mike in the parking garage. "Michael Hansen, you're under arrest for theft and conspiracy." But Agent Morrison surprised him. "Mr. Hansen, we've been investigating this money laundering operation for 8 months. Your heist inadvertently helped our case by forcing the criminals into the open." The FBI revealed the truth. Mike's thefts had triggered the criminal organizations to increase security, exposing their operations to federal surveillance. Vincent Torres had been a federal informant for 2 years, feeding information to build the case. "You helped us identify $200 million in money laundering we couldn't find before," Morrison explained. Mike faced a choice: testify against the crime families or face prosecution himself. The decision was easy. Danny and Jessica agreed. "Dad, you saved us. Now let's save other families." The federal prosecutor offered complete immunity. Mike's stolen money came from criminal proceeds, making his thefts technically legal recovery of illegal assets. His family received witness protection and new identities. At trial, Mike's testimony destroyed all 3 organizations. 67 defendants received federal convictions. $2 billion in criminal assets were seized. The Vegas organized crime network collapsed completely. Mike became a federal consultant, developing the Hansen protocols for casino security. His salary jumped to $280,000, reflecting his expertise and ongoing risks. Danny entered addiction treatment and became a counselor specializing in gambling-related crimes. Jessica graduated from Stanford and joined the FBI Financial Crimes Unit. Even Mike's ex-wife remarried him under their new identities. 2 years later, Mike watched his children graduate, Danny from addiction counseling program, Jessica from FBI Academy. The family had lost their names but kept their bonds. Federal oversight transformed the casino industry. Real-time monitoring prevented money laundering. Employee protection programs protected whistleblowers. 0 casino employees faced criminal threats since Mike's case. The man who started as a desperate father stealing $300,000 to save his son became the federal consultant who revolutionized casino security. His progressive heist strategy, starting small, building intelligence, striking decisively, became the model for financial crime investigations worldwide. Mike Hansen stole $25.2 million from 3 crime families and walked away a hero. Sometimes breaking the law is the only way to serve justice. Subscribe if you think a father should do anything to protect his kids, even if it means stealing from criminals. Hit that like button if you believe Mike was the real hero in this story, and drop a comment. Would you risk everything for your family like Mike did?